For the last 16 years, I've made millions in sales. Throughout my career, I've sold everything from 50k consulting packages to protein tubs at the back of my boot as a kid. I'm Usman Kayani and I'm the founder of Guided Growth, which is the UK's leading sales consulting business. We've worked with your favorite influencers, all the biggest online brands, and now I'm gonna give you the game that you need to be able to start closing deals. You could be new to sales or an experienced business owner. Without the ability to sell, you simply ain't making no money. And if you're not closing any deals, there's no money coming into your life, and that girl that's been ignoring you is just gonna carry on ignoring you. What a sad life it is for you. It's time to close some deals and it's time to make some money so we can fix your life. But no issue G, we're teaching you how to do all the things you need to be able to sell and make a bagload of money. In a time where everything is always watched, you think you're not being watched, you think you might be walking on the street, there's cameras there. You think you might be out in public and no one's looking, someone is looking. Someone is always watching every move. And when I was young, my dad said to me, even when you think no one is watching, behave as though someone is watching. And I'm going to tell you a story about reputation. There was a guy I worked with around 10 years ago, and this guy would be seen as the hardest worker. He was always telling everyone, like, I work so hard, I'm always a grafter. And I knew this kid was not working hard as me. I knew, because if he was, he would have been making more sales. But what his game was to make it seem as though he was working hard. And I'll tell you what he did. In the gym, there was these mirrors, and he would rush down the stairs where everyone could see in the cafe because it was like an open glass. He would rush down and always look like he's rushing and look like he's working. And as soon as he would turn the corner, his pace would slow down. He'd pull his phone out of his pocket, start looking at it, and just start like shuffling around and doing nothing with his time. He didn't know there was a mirror right there, and I would see it all the time. Remember, I'm the manager at the time here, and I would just see him constantly. Like anytime someone's looking, he would walk into the office in a rush and just be like, oh yeah, I've just been so busy, I've just been like dealing with 2 customers. And then he would sit and do nothing with his time. The game he was playing was, let me just look like I'm busy, because if I look like I'm busy, people are going to think I'm good, people are going to think I'm working hard. But you know what didn't work for him? Results. There was no results. It does not matter what it looks like you're doing or what you say to people. It's your actions. Your reputation will always follow you. Look, there's guys online who are extremely famous right now with millions of subscribers on YouTube, but their reputation from 10 years ago, where they've done some dodgy sales in their business, is still around. People still look on Glassdoor at this guy's business and they know that he had been a bad business owner. Right now, he might have changed, but your reputation is always there. You got to remember, it takes one person to deter someone from working with you. Imagine this. Someone's thinking about working with you. They've got a sales call booked. Before the sales call, they start asking around, but they ask 9 people, and all 9 people say, no, he was really good, she was really good, great service, I absolutely loved it. And then there's that one person that had an awful experience with you. And you know what they say to that person? I wouldn't do it, I wouldn't work with them. Loads of people get results, but I didn't get the results that I wanted to. And you know what will happen with that person? They're not going to work with you. Everyone online has this I don't give a fuck attitude about their content or about their business, and they just want to sell it and then worry about the problems later. We are a product-focused business. In tech, the philosophy is product-led growth. If the product is good, it will sell itself. So a lot of the times, a lot of these tech geniuses aren't even the best at marketing, but because they build a product that's so good, it sells itself. It's reputation that people will buy first. We think it's going to be, oh no, I'm really good at what I do. Everyone's going to respect me. Everyone loves this product that I have. Everyone loves this service that I have. And we think that's what we need. It's reputation. It's how you make people feel. It's how people remember you. I go to masterminds all over the world. Next month, I'm going to New York and Dubai for 2 masterminds. I'm going to meet probably 50 people. And out of those 50 people, my job is to make every interaction as amazing as possible for those people, because maybe they might not buy from me at the mastermind where they think, oh, he can help me with my sales. Commonly, a lot of masterminds, I get a lot of sales because a lot of marketers meet me and they're like, oh, you know what, he can help me with my sales. That's where I crush and make a lot of money. Last mastermind, I made like 200k just from simply turning up somewhere and people asking me questions. You think when I go to these masterminds and there's someone there who's had a bad experience with me, they're going to want to work with me. Every single experience matters. If someone's had a bad experience, we got to make sure we fix it and make sure we do everything everything possible to look after them. Reputation is the most important thing, and it can lose you a lot of sales. Number 2 on the list is framing. Framing is how the call is set up. Now, commonly you might see on Instagram how people frame a call in the standard version, which is someone jumps onto the call and they'll say, hey, it's nice to have you on here today. What we're going to go over is XYZ, and if I can make you an offer, I will. We think that's not very important. We think that's just a minor thing, just to frame the call. I'm going to tell you now, last month, I had a call that was not framed correctly and I lost £50,000. And I lost £50,000 because someone on my team had told this person on our Instagram, oh yeah, Usman will just jump onto a call with you and give you advice, no problem. And then I was told by the salesperson, can you just speak to this guy because he's interested in buying your product? So I've come onto the call thinking, right, he's watched my stuff. I think I've spoken to him before. I'm going to try to close him. So he showed up to the call. And remember, he's been told by the salesperson, no pressure, just come on. We're just going to be able to support you with your business. If you've got any questions, Usman will help you. So this kid's just jumped on the phone and instantly he's recognized the questions that I'm asking him about his business are more about me trying to sell him, because I'm asking him, so what's the main thing you're struggling with and what support do you need and what's missing right now? I'm asking him all the questions to get to know him. And you know, this kid, he said to me, oh, can I just ask questions? So he started asking me a couple of questions like, what should I do with this sales team and what should I do with this sales rep and how should I hire this closer? And me, I'm thinking, why is this guy just looking for free advice? Like, we're on a sales call. He knows that it's a consult call. I'm just going to tell him, we'll help you with it once you work with us. And once you work with us, we'll set you up properly so you have all of these. But he came onto the call being told he's going to get those answers. So instantly we've clashed. He told me straight away, oh, I was told I'm going to come onto this call because I'm going to get all the answers and get everything that I need on the call. And when he said this to me, I thought to myself, I charge about £1,000 for my time. My time's expensive. Either you're buying this package or you're not. And instantly, I could see that his energy was shifting because he just wanted to get answers. But I was told it's a sales call. So what could I have done there to prevent this? One, I could have trained the salesperson differently to frame the call for me, and I could have framed the call. Or I could have had an automation to frame the call for me via email. Because when he came onto the call, I should have said to him, what we're going to cover today is XYZ, and we're going to make sure if it's a good fit, you can work with us. And he would have said, oh, I was told I'm just going to get some Q&A today. Obviously, I would have given him something at the time and then tried to pivot towards a sale if we could help him. But because the call wasn't framed properly, I ended up losing a lot of money on this deal. And so many calls that we listen to when we QC calls for our clients, we listen to the calls and there's no framing. And then when they do a pitch at the end, the client's shocked. 15K, 20K for this program. I just thought I'm going to jump onto a call with you. And we think logically that people are coming onto a sales call because they want to work with you. It's actually very different now. Most people online haven't been fully convinced. They, a lot of the times, are coming on to find out more information. Back in the day when we used to sell 10 years ago, there was no more information. If you want to buy it, you buy it. But now, because of all the trust, people will come onto the call because they haven't consumed a lot of your YouTube stuff yet, and they'll want just more information. So you may need an educator call. You may need an information type of process, a 2-step call process where you give them all the information and then a pitch on the next call. So then they have a time where trust is built up with you. And when trust is built up, they're way more likely to buy. So you've got to frame the call properly, whether that's framing at the beginning of a call, whether that's framing the call itself, or framing call 1 to only set up call 2. So you've got to be able to make sure things are framed properly. That leads me to my third point. And the third point that I've got for you is the golden circle. Now, the golden circle I first read about in Simon Sinek's Start With a Why. And the golden circle is 3 phases, which is the what, how, and the why. And Simon talks about an example where when Apple does any of their ads, do they say the what, which is we have a 12 megapixel camera in a new iPhone, or do they say we believe everyone should be able to share the best memories, therefore we've put our best 12 megapixel camera into the device? Well, they say the why. They don't say the what. And we always buy from the why. So if I asked you right now, what was the most expensive thing that you bought recently? And you think to yourself, flights, clothes, cars, what, like a laptop, whatever it was. And if I said, why did you buy it? Your first answer will be, well, I liked it. That's why I just wanted it. But if I asked, why did you like it? What made you buy it? And if I asked why enough times, around the 5th or the 6th time, you'd say something like, it made me feel more confident. It made me happy. It gave me the dopamine hit. It made me feel like I can really accomplish something. It made me feel like I can really travel anywhere I want. Whatever the thing that you bought, there was a deeper emotion behind it. And we do everything based upon emotions. We think that we're selling the product, but we're selling the outcome that product gives us. When we're selling our clients sales consulting, and we fix their entire sales team, we train their sales manager, we get them a sales director, we install all the processes, and they now make an extra 2 million a year. Was it the 2 million a year, or was it the business owner that had a deeper need of why his business needs to succeed? Well, it was the deeper need, because if he didn't achieve that deeper reasoning internally, he would not have bought the program. He would not have spent all this money. He would not have built his business. He would not have done all the things to get his team to show up to our calls. He would not have shown up to all of our consulting calls with him. So you have to understand, we buy based upon our deepest reason. And that's why the golden circle is such a good reminder, because you have to go in extremely deep when someone is buying something. We think sales is about, hey, you want this pen. And do you know why that pen reason is bullshit? Because if someone 20 years ago said, do you want this pen? They would use the Wolf of Wall Street method and say, like, write something down. But you know the modern day version of buy this pen, what it is? It's niching down and knowing exactly why someone needs it, which is you having a pen and deciding, right, I'm going to sell this pen to lawyers. And I'm going to sell this pen to lawyers because when they use this Parker pen, they're going to feel amazing about it. And then you target them and target all their pain points. And then you could really be selective and charge as much money as you want for that pen, because you're selling it to a group of people that can afford it. But it's because you know their deeper reasoning. And when you know their deeper reasoning, it makes it so much easier to sell. If you just put a pen online, what's stopping someone to just buying a pound pen elsewhere or going to W.H. Smith? They're going to buy it from you when there's a deeper intrinsic reason that they know they're going to feel something from that. And you have to be able to go that deep on sales if you truly want to sell. And it leads me to my next point, which is called digging for the gold. And digging for the gold is a questioning technique that I actually made up myself. And digging for the gold is where you keep asking questions until you find the gold, which is why they need that thing. And it's a questioning technique. Very early on, I used to use the method, which is 5 bums and a goalpost, which is the what, when, why, how. And we used to be able to ask any question beginning with one of those words, and you'll be able to get an open answer. Then you keep digging further and further until you get the deeper root reasoning, like the golden circle teaches you. But digging for the gold is just about you being relentless. It's just about not taking no for an answer. Continuously asking questions. I've been on a sales call recently, and the girl just said to me, yeah, I just want to make an extra 50k a month. I'd be happy with that. And I was like, well, 50k, or why do you not want to make 100k? Because I knew if I said, what are you going to do with that 50k? Sales resistance would go up, because it's too stereotypical of a question. She's a marketer, she's intelligent. So I used humor in this scenario. And I said, why not 100k? And then she said, well, I actually have never made a big jump in my business. And I was like, what do you mean? And now I knew I hit something. And she said, it's actually been quite frustrating for me the last few months, because I used to want to make 100k more a month than I'm doing now. So I settled for 50 because I've been stuck for so long. So I went, okay, what's the main thing that's got you stuck? And then it turned out it was emotions, and it was a roadblock. And then after she got talking about it, she actually had a breakup. And then she had a breakup which led to her struggling with her business falling behind, her missing some bills, and then her goals decided to change as well. You see, that only came because I kept digging and asking questions to really understand her. So you've got to be able to really dig for the gold. So when you're asking questions, you're really digging. You're not scared to ask direct questions. You build a rapport early on because you'll ask them about them, where they're from, just a little bit of chit chat. Not so much that it seems fake or like, how's the weather where you are? But the true questions, the true direct questions, it takes a lot of skill. But when you're digging for the gold, the number one thing that you got to remember is the way you ask the questions. Let me give you an example about this. If I said to you, so why is that so important to you? Compared to, so why is that so important to you now? The tone, as I slow it down, it seems way more curious. And I can say it in so many different ways. And I can say that same sentence and make it mean something different every single time. Why is that important to you right now? 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 So many examples, the only thing I'd changed was emphasizing one word, and every single time it meant something completely different. The sentence meant something different, but it had the same words in it. And digging for the gold is more about using your tone and knowing how to use your shovel. It's not just about smashing it into the ground and just digging. It's about knowing how do you dig and how different techniques that you can use, and be able to use your tone, being able to use your body language. When we're teaching our sales reps to sell on a Zoom call, we're even teaching them how to use their body, when to lean in, when to lean back. And we think it's just about the questions. It's about how you ask, and that's what you really need to teach. But knowing how to ask and all of these techniques don't mean anything without the next point, which is belief. And belief is the single most important thing in sales. Without belief, and without believing you will achieve it, you'll never really be able to do it, because you'll hear the uncertainty in your voice. And a book that I definitely recommend to you now is Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. For years I used to see Tony Robbins and think, is this guy just a fake? Why is everyone going to him for motivation? How are people spending 50k with this guy? Like, what is he even doing? But then I listened to Awaken the Giant Within. And when I listened to it, I thought, this guy really knows about belief. And with self-belief, you can genuinely accomplish anything. And I'm going to give you a big example about belief. If you look at Christian missionaries, when Christian missionaries go out and their number one job is to spread the word of God, that's what they're trying to do. And they'll go into different countries and they'll go around the world, and they have no sales skills, and they'll get someone to change their entire life, to start thinking differently, to embrace God, to change every part of their being, just by simply pitching their religion with belief. So they'll say, no, you have to believe in God. There's no other choice. There's nothing else after. And they'll give you all this certainty in their voice. And people will change their lives. They don't have no sales skills, but they have belief. They've not had sales training. They've not consumed the guided growth closers manual sales training, which you have access to. If you go on the link in the bio, you can get free access to our $2,000 course for free in our community. They don't have access to that. You do. But the thing that they have is belief. So if you have belief, you can genuinely accomplish anything. And that's why you have to sell with belief. The next point is you could have all of these things, the reputation, the belief, asking for questions. But if you don't deliver on your promises, people won't buy again. And it will hurt your reputation, which goes back to the first point. And over-delivering is all about promising and giving more than you've said. So most people online will promise the world and deliver the bare minimum. What we do is promise what we can actually do for them and we know is realistic, but then we over-deliver on it. And we over-deliver because of our service, because of how many follow-ups we have, because of how much we call them. Right now, every single Monday, me and our head consultant, we sit and we call clients out the blue and just check in on them. It's not a special call, it's not a follow-up call, it's just to see, how are you doing? How is everything? And we've been doing that every single Monday for the last few weeks, and it's been working amazingly. And it's about doing the unscalable things. And if you're willing to do the unscalable things, you'll over-deliver to your customers. Yes, it's going to cost us more to be able to do that at scale. But if we're willing to do that, we will get more customers because we're always over-delivering. And you've got to be able to over-deliver if you want that person to recommend you. They're not going to recommend you if they've had a mediocre service. If they've spent thousands with you and then they just get exactly what they got, they're happy, they're okay. But if you give them that 10% extra, that little bit of love, you give them a little bit more than they asked for, they will see that as the biggest blessing and they'll want to tell everyone about it. A lot of our clients have come from referrals, and they come from referrals because we're just relentless and we will help them way more than they even thought we would help them. We don't even promise them advice on funnels and marketing, but we end up giving them all of that stuff. And we do that because we know if we do everything for them plus more, we will get more customers, they will end up happier, and it's just about doing a decent job. And now we're on point number 7, which is all about your selling style. What does that mean? What do you mean by the style of selling? Well, what type of salesperson are you? Let me tell you the type of salesperson I used to be to how I've changed and why I had to change. At first, I used to be the type of salesperson that used to think about, oh, they just want to be my friend. I'm just going to connect with them, build a lot of rapport, then they'll buy me. That was the old way. But then online, you need to be able to sell with a bit more authority. So I would have people show up to calls and I would lack authority just because they would say things like, oh, sorry, I'm a bit late. Can we just organize a call for tomorrow? And I'd be like, yeah, sure, no problem. They would think less of my time because I'm like, sure, whatever it is will help you. Because I just used to want to be their friend. But then when I changed my attitude towards saying, sorry, I'm only available at 4 o'clock tomorrow, does that work for you? When it's important enough, they make it happen and your time becomes respected. So then I learned how to hold more authority. But then are you someone that sells with a bit more humor? So when someone gives you an objection and they'll say, sorry, I need to speak to my partner, a lot of people out there will just be like, so what do you need to speak to your partner about? Instead, I can use a bit of humor when they tell me that they want to speak to their partner. I'll be like, nah, your partner doesn't want you to do it, does she? And I'll just use that, and then they'll start smiling and joke because I'll smile and joke with them. And the pressure just seems to fade. And they're like, no, she's actually quite understanding, or he's quite understanding, and no, it'll be okay. And I'll use humor in that time. So there's times that I can hold authority. There's times I could use humor. But you have to actually find your own unique selling style. And unique selling style only comes from when you've done a lot of reps. In the beginning, when you sell, you have a script. And as a closer, you go through each phase. Okay, I'm going to frame the call. Then I'm going to ask these questions. Then I'm going to ask how badly they want to do it. Then I'm going to ask them what if they don't do it, what happens. Then I'm going to come up with a pitch. You go through all the phases. But then you learn the strategy. Then you start coming up with your own style. Then you start having your own personality in it. Then you start relaxing a bit. Then you start talking a bit more, but you have the guardrails of the script, but you don't use it the same as you used to. The same way when you first go to the gym, you have to learn how to do really strict form. If you don't do really strict form, you don't engage the muscle. But then you look at bodybuilders and they're not using the most strict form because what they've got is they've got a great connection with the muscle. So even when they swing a little bit, they're still actually contracting the muscle a lot more than you think because they've got a great connection with it. So their exercises don't look the same as a newbie, but they're more jacked than anybody else because they've got their own style, and that only comes from experience, and you can't skip experience. But the one thing that will get you experience is point number 8, which is training and regular quality control. We think that we don't need training after a certain point, but every top salesperson that I've met still gets training. I still, after 16 years, will consume sales training. I recently, only last year, bought some more sales training, and I've been in sales 15 years. Why would I buy more sales training? I still have read books from every author. Any new book that comes out, I'll read it. I read Jeremy Miner's New Model Selling. I just wanted to see, okay, Jeremy's been on the scene now a few years. What's he talking about? And he had collated his knowledge from all the stuff that he had read and put it into one book. And then I would have gone back and read Robert Cialdini's Influence book again. Or I'd have gone and read some Brian Tracy books. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always looking for more courses. The young guys who think they already have it all mapped out and they think they don't need any more training, they're the ones that stop growing. Stopping training means you stop growing. Do you know the most experienced footballers? There's a lot of them out there that they get to their mid-30s and they stop showing up to training the same. They start slowing down. They start just thinking, you know what, I'm big enough for the training now, I don't need to show up. And those are the footballers that you see it in their performance months later because they didn't show up to their training. There's footballers out there that no longer show up to their pre-season training when they get really popular. They just think, it's not for me, I don't need to do that, I'm already good, I'm already the best in the world or best in my league. But the ones that are the best and still show up continue to improve, or in their older age they'll maintain the game that they've got because they're still putting in the work that they need to. So training always needs to happen. You can never stop training. You have to always find what area can I improve. There's always something. So if you right now think, I've done hundreds of hours of training about this, I don't need to do any more. Well, if you think that you've done enough training, that means you've done enough growing. It's time to stop progressing for you. Okay, we're on the home stretch and we've got the last 2 points for you. So if you stuck around this long, I know you genuinely want to improve because 9 and 10 are no joke. So I'll save the best ones for last. So point number 9 is there's 2 sales in every sale. You probably think, what does that even mean? How is there 2 sales in every sale? You have to sell 2 things every time you're on a sales call: the method and the outcome. So let me explain. The outcome is why they're there. So why do you want to actually buy this thing? What's it going to do for you? And you really work hard to find out all the questioning, to ask them all the questions about the golden circle, digging for the gold, to really find out the true outcome of why they're there and be able to buy the product. And then you have got them sold on the outcome, but have you got them sold on the method, on how you will actually get there? Because the method is the next thing they buy. So let's say you sell group coaching. What if they actually wanted one-to-one? Let's say you sell one-to-one coaching, but let's say they don't even have the time to do any one-to-one. They just wanted like a guide, they just wanted a PDF. You have to be able to sell the how and the outcome. And the how is the method and how you're going to get them there. We make sure we cover everything. We make sure we cover coaching calls on a group basis. We do one-on-one calls as much as they want. We'll provide them all the course content. We'll provide them a community. We'll cover everything they need within our fractional sales process to make sure nothing is missing. Because that way, the method is also covered and the outcome, which is how they're going to get there. And the stronger your method, the stronger the outcome. So they're totally related to each other. You got to get them to truly buy in to the method that you're pitching for them, because you're going to pitch, this is the outcome that we're going to get you, and this is how we're going to get you there. So if you don't show them how and the method, they're not going to be fully bought in, because they'll think, you know what, I can just run YouTube ads to get more clients. I don't need Facebook ads. I've tried them before. It doesn't work for me. So the outcome may be getting more appointments, but the method might be how you're going to do it. And it could be even more nuanced, because let's say you're going to do Facebook ads, but let's say you do your VSL script with ChatGPT, where somebody else has like a coach that comes on and writes your VSL for you. Because I've tried both. I bought one program with ChatGPT when it wasn't so good, so the script wasn't good at all. And I had one which someone came onto a call and actually helped me write out the entire script word for word, and then said, great, now you finish this bit. And that worked for me way more. And I wish that I understood the method before I even bought the first course, because then I would be like, well, I can do the ChatGPT search myself. So the method is one thing that you buy, as well as the outcome. And finally, point number 10, something that most people mess up on, and it's just the simplest thing, and most people just let it slip through the cracks. When it's time to take the money, take the money. Have a payment link ready before every phone call. Even a phone call that I think that I'm not really sure they're going to buy, I have the Stripe link, I have the bank details ready beforehand, I have the invoice just ready. And if you're not ready to take money at any time, you're going to miss a deal. There's going to be a time, and I promise you this, where there's 2 minutes left on a phone call and the person says, go on then, let's do it. I've only got 2 minutes, I've got to go in a second. And if you don't bang that payment link into the chat straight away, they're just going to go and do it on the next one, and they're not going to buy from you. So you've got to have the payment link ready all the time. I make sure I've got the payment link ready. You know, when I had my sports rehab clinics, there used to be people who were back to back. Every 45 minutes I was doing another appointment. And then as one person was leaving, the next one was coming. And I was trying to sell packages. I was trying to sell like 6 sessions at a time or 10 sessions at a time for our physios to deliver. And very quickly, I had to be able to have the card machine ready with the payment on the screen and be like, are you wanting to get the next 6 sessions sorted? Yeah, I've only got a minute though, because they're running out and somebody else is walking in. And I just used to give them the card machine and be like, tap your card there. And they used to tap and the money used to come out within a second. But because I had it ready beforehand, I would spend first few minutes getting it ready before they finish their sessions. So by the time they change their clothes and they're coming out the room, I'm like, here's the card machine. That card machine was the single biggest hack for me, because I would just close so many deals, because I would just get rid of all the friction that they would need in the sale. Have the card ready, have the card machine ready, have the payment link ready, have whatever you need, just be able to take the money. And that's point number 10, which is take the money and make every transaction absolutely frictionless. Most of you out there will just watch this for motivation on how to sell. But there's a few of you out there that will take my experience and be able to use it and compress time for yourself, so you don't have to go through all the lessons and all the time that I had to. And so if you take all these 10 points and put them into your sales game, you'll be able to make far more money far quicker. And I mentioned earlier on that I have a sales training course. I don't need to actually pitch you on this course, because we used to actually sell it for $2,000 and we sold a lot of them. But now you're able to access this entire course for free. If you see the link in the description, you're going to be able to click, join our free school community and access a free sales training course. There's no pitch here to sell you sales training. I honestly believe that everyone should be able to sell. Everyone out there in the world, whether you're a baker, whether you're some guy who's got nothing to do with sales, you need to know how to influence people. So this is why our sales training course, because it's our mission to be able to give everyone the ability to sell and influence and persuade. So if everyone needs to have it, why would I sell it? So it's available for you for free. So if you click the link below, enter your details, access the course and get sales trained. If this video is useful to you, comment below. Tell me that you found it useful. Share it with a friend. If someone is new to sales or an experienced business owner that isn't so confident in selling, send them this video. Share the video and I'm going to catch you on the next one.